Hi, friend. If this is your first time here, my name is Erica, and welcome to I Can Face Tomorrow, a community where we talk about healing from betrayal, abandonment, heartbreak, rejection, and loss while discovering that there is purpose on the other side of our pain. Today is a really special day for me. Today marks 8 years of marriage to my husband, Shanon. Woo! And as I woke up this morning, I couldn't help but think about another version of myself. The version of me who never imagined I'd be celebrating another wedding anniversary. The woman who thought betrayal had permanently changed her future. The woman who couldn't imagine trusting again. The woman who wondered if she'd ever truly laugh from her heart again. Maybe that's where you are today. Maybe your heart has been broken. Maybe someone walked away. Maybe someone betrayed your trust. Maybe you have experienced a loss so deep that you honestly cannot imagine what tomorrow looks like. If that's you, I want you to know I've been there. And I want to share something with you today that I wish someone had shared with me. Not because I have all the answers, but because I've lived through some of the questions. When my first marriage ended, I wasn't just grieving the loss of a relationship. I was grieving the loss of the life I thought I was going to have. I wasn't just losing a husband. I was losing dreams, plans, memories I thought we would make. The picture I had painted of my future. And that's something people don't always understand about grief. Sometimes you're not grieving what happened. You're grieving what will never happen. The vacations you thought you'd take. The anniversaries you thought you'd celebrate. The growing old you thought you'd experience. You're grieving possibilities. And that is a very real loss. I remember asking myself questions that maybe you've asked too. God, what now? What did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? Will I ever feel normal again? Will I ever trust anyone again? And maybe the hardest question is this the rest of my life? Looking back now, 8 years into a healthy marriage, I realized something. The greatest miracle wasn't that I got married again. The greatest miracle was that God healed my heart first. And I really want you to hear me when I say this. This video is not about getting remarried, because not every woman watching this will get married again. And I don't want anyone to think that's the happy ending, because it isn't. Marriage isn't the prize. Healing is. Wholeness is. Peace is. Freedom is. If another relationship becomes the goal, you'll spend your life waiting for someone else to complete what only God can restore. But when healing becomes the goal, that is something that nobody, and I mean nobody, can take away from you. That's why I talk so much about healing. Not because I want women to move on quickly, but because I want women to become whole. People have asked me over the years, weren't you scared to get married again? The answer is, I understood that I could be hurt again, because every relationship comes with risk. Every time we choose to love someone, we're choosing vulnerability. There are no guarantees, but here's what healing taught me. Healing isn't that you're no longer afraid of being hurt. Healing is that fear no longer gets to make your decisions. I'm going to say that one more time. Healing isn't that you're no longer afraid of being hurt. Healing is that fear no longer gets to make your decisions. And that changed everything for me because I realized I couldn't control whether someone hurt me, but I could control whether fear became the steering wheel of my life. And I refused to give fear that kind of power. When I married Shannon, I made a decision. I wasn't going to make him pay for what someone else had done. He deserved the opportunity to build trust with me based on who he was, not based on someone else's choices. That didn't mean I ignored wisdom. It didn't mean I forgot what I learned. It didn't mean I didn't have boundaries. Actually, my boundaries became healthier. My discernment became stronger. I had grown. But I refused to let my past become the lens through which I saw my future. Because that's what fear wants. That's what fear wants us to do. Fear whispers, they'll all hurt you. You'll never be safe. Don't trust anyone. Don't open your heart again. And if we're not careful, we'll spend our lives punishing people for crimes they never committed. We'll make new relationships carry the weight of old wounds. And that's not healing. That's surviving. One of the greatest gifts healing gave me was freedom. Freedom to hope again, freedom to laugh again, freedom to trust again. Not because I believe nothing bad could ever happen, but because I believed that no matter what happened, God would still be faithful and I would never abandon myself again. That realization changed my life. When I look back over these last 8 years, I'm grateful for my marriage. Very grateful. But if I'm honest, I'm even more grateful for the woman God rebuilt. Because if he had simply given me another relationship without healing my heart, I would have carried old wounds into a new beginning. And that would not have been fair to either one of us. Healing came first, marriage came later. And I think that's an important order because another relationship cannot heal what only God can heal. Another person cannot convince you you're worthy if you don't believe it yourself. Another person cannot silence every fear. Another person cannot erase memories. Healing is an inside job. And God patiently does that work if we'll let him. One of the things I've learned is that healing doesn't mean that you pretend your past never happened. I did not wake up one day and suddenly forget everything that I've been through. Healing is not amnesia. Healing is transformation. The memories are still there, but they no longer control me. The story is still part of my life, but it no longer defines my life. That's a huge difference. I also learned something that completely changed my perspective. For a long time, I thought healing meant becoming the woman I was before betrayal. But that's not what happened. God was not trying to take me backwards. He was growing me forward. I didn't become the old Erica again. I became a wiser Erica, a stronger Erica, a woman with healthier boundaries, greater discernment, a deeper faith. Hallelujah. More compassion, more courage, more dependence on God. Sometimes we spend so much energy trying to get back to who we used to be when maybe God is inviting us to become someone we've never been before. And that is beautiful. If you're watching this today, maybe your story looks different than mine. Maybe you'll never remarry. Maybe you're still praying. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to make it through tomorrow. I want you to hear me. Your hope is not in having the same ending I had. Your hope is in knowing that God still writes beautiful stories. Your story doesn't have to look like mine to be beautiful. Your healing doesn't have to look like mine to be real. God knows exactly what you need, and He loves you enough not to compare your journey to anyone else's. So today, as I celebrate 8 years of marriage, which 8 means new beginnings, I'm not celebrating because life has been perfect. It hasn't. I'm celebrating because God has been faithful. He's been faithful in my tears, faithful in my waiting, faithful in my healing. He's been faithful in my marriage, faithful in my failures, faithful in my victories, faithful when I understood what He was doing, and faithful when I didn't. And if He's been faithful to me, I believe He'll be faithful to you too. Maybe not in the way you expect, maybe not on the timeline you want, but He is faithful. Can I leave you with this? Please don't let one painful chapter convince you that the whole book is ruined. Don't let one betrayal make you believe you'll never trust again. Don't let one rejection make you believe you'll never be chosen again. And don't let one loss make you believe you'll never laugh again, because what you're living today is not the final chapter. God is still writing. And one day you'll look back and realize He was working even when you couldn't see it. If today's conversation encouraged you, I don't want this to be where your healing journey ends. I created a free healing guide because I remember what it felt like to wonder, where do I even begin? If that's where you are today, this guide is for you. It's designed to help you take your first intentional steps towards healing after betrayal, abandonment, heartbreak, rejection, or loss. And you can download it completely free using the link in the description below or scan the QR code on the screen. And if you're ready to go deeper, I also created a healing workbook for women who are ready to move beyond simply listening to healing messages and begin applying what they're learning. Inside, you will find guided journal prompts, reflection exercises, questions designed to help you process your pain, rebuild your self-worth, strengthen your boundaries, and move forward with hope. It's available for $37, and I'd be honored, I'd be happy to walk alongside you on your healing journey. You can find that link as well in the description or scanning the QR code. And if this is your first time here, or maybe you've been watching for a while but haven't joined our family yet, I'd love to personally invite you to subscribe. I don't know why I want to say describe, but subscribe to the I Can Face Tomorrow YouTube channel. It's a community, a place where women come to heal, to rebuild, to encourage one another, to discover purpose on the other side of pain. If you're looking for a place where you don't have to pretend you're okay, where you can grow in love and truth, in hope, and in faith, you are welcome here. I'd love to walk this journey with you. And before you go, I want you to always remember something. What happened to you is not the end of your story. There is purpose on the other side of your pain. And no matter what you've been through, you can face tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next video.